Hello, everyone. Something's accelerating. Can you feel it? Is less than Hasson. 0 is greater than. Like time itself is moving differently around you lately. Like things that usually take months are happening in weeks. Like connections that should develop slowly are intensifying rapidly. Like you're being pulled forward by something you can't quite name, but can definitely sense. And somewhere in all of this speed, in all of this momentum, there might be a person, someone significant, someone who could matter more than you're ready to admit. I'm Anna, and if this reading found you, I think you might be in one of those rare periods where everything shifts quickly, where the universe stops dragging its feet and just moves, where what you've been waiting for suddenly starts happening so fast you can barely keep up. And at the center of all this acceleration, there might be a conversation coming, a big one, the kind that changes trajectories, the kind that makes you reconsider everything you thought you knew about your path. Is less than Hasson. 0 is greater than. So let's explore this. The energy of rapid movement, the possibility of significant connection, the sense that something or someone important might be entering your awareness in ways that feel almost overwhelming in their speed and intensity, is less than Hasson. 0 is greater than. Take what resonates here. This is about exploring what you might already be experiencing. You remain in control of your choices, always. This is simply an invitation to pay attention to what's unfolding around you. Let me start by asking you something. Have you noticed time feeling weird lately? Have you had moments where you look at the calendar and can't believe how much has happened in such a short period? Or conversely, have you had days that felt like they lasted forever, like time stretched out in strange ways? Because I feel like some of you are in this temporal distortion where your experience of time doesn't match the actual passage of time. And that's not random. That happens when you're in a period of significant transformation, when you're processing a lot, when things are moving quickly. Your internal experience speeds up or slows down based on the intensity of what you're going through. And right now, for some of you, there's a lot of intensity building. Is less than Hasson. 0 is greater than. You know what I'm picking up on? There may be someone in your field right now, or about to enter it, who carries soulmate energy. And before you roll your eyes or get too excited, let me clarify what I mean by that. I'm not talking about one perfect person destined for you since birth. I'm talking about someone you might recognize on a soul level. Someone who feels familiar even when they're new. Someone whose presence creates this sense of, oh, there you are. That recognition, that resonance, it can happen fast. It doesn't always need months of getting to know each other. Sometimes you just know something in you responds to something in them. And suddenly you're in this accelerated connection that feels both thrilling and slightly terrifying. Let me paint you a picture. You meet someone or you reconnect with someone and the conversation flows in a way that surprises you. You're talking about things you don't usually talk about with new people. You're sharing parts of yourself you usually keep private. You're laughing in a way that feels natural and easy. And hours pass like minutes. And when you finally part ways, you're standing there thinking, what just happened? That's the energy I'm sensing for some of you. Not necessarily romantic, though it could be, but definitely significant, definitely meaningful, definitely the kind of connection that makes you reconsider your assumptions about how relationships develop. is less than has hon. 0 is greater than. Now let's talk about this big conversation that might be coming, because I feel like it's not just casual small talk. This might be one of those conversations where things get said that can't be unsaid, where intentions get clarified, where someone might express feelings or interest or vision for a future that includes you, where you might have to show up more honestly than you're used to showing up. And that can be intense, especially if it happens quickly, especially if you're not sure you're ready, especially if you've been protecting yourself and suddenly someone's knocking on those walls asking if you're willing to let them in. Let me slow down here. Is less than has hon. 0 is greater than, because I want to acknowledge that fast doesn't always feel good, even when it's right, even when it's what you've been wanting. Fast can feel destabilizing. It can trigger your fear responses. It can make you want to pump the brakes because you're not sure you trust something that's moving this quickly. And that's valid. That's your nervous system trying to protect you. That's learned caution from times things moved fast and didn't end well. So if you're experiencing both excitement and fear around whatever's accelerating in your life right now, that's completely normal. You're not broken for feeling both things at once. Is less than has hon. 0 is greater than. Let me ask you something. Have you been feeling pulled towards someone lately, or has someone been showing interest in you that feels more intense than casual? Have you been having conversations that go deeper faster than expected? Have you been noticing synchronicities or patterns that keep pointing you toward a particular person? Because when soulmate energy is present, when there's genuine resonance between people, things tend to happen in non-linear ways. Coincidences multiply. You keep running into each other. Mutual friends keep bringing you together. The universe seems weirdly invested in making sure you connect. And you can dismiss that as random, or you can pay attention to it. Is less than has hon. 0 is greater than. You know what else I'm sensing? Some of you might be resisting this acceleration. You might be thinking this is too fast. I need to slow down. I'm not ready. And maybe you're not. Maybe you need more time. But I also feel like some of you use not ready as a way to avoid risk, as a way to stay safe, as a way to protect yourself from potential disappointment. So ask yourself honestly, are you genuinely not ready, or are you scared? Because those are different things. Not ready means you have actual work to do on yourself first. Scared just means the stakes feel high, and you can do scary things even when you're scared. You don't have to wait until fear disappears to take action. Let me describe what this big conversation might feel like. You might be sitting with this person or talking to them on the phone or texting, and suddenly the tone shifts. Something gets said that changes the energy. Maybe they express how they feel about you. Maybe they ask where this is going. Maybe they share a vision of what they want. Maybe they're vulnerable in a way that invites you to be vulnerable back. And in that moment, you have a choice. You can match their vulnerability. You can be honest about what you're feeling. You can take the risk of being seen, or you can deflect. You can keep things surface level. You can protect yourself by not engaging with the depth they're offering. Neither choice is wrong, but they lead to different outcomes. One moves you toward connection. The other keeps you safe, but potentially alone. Is less than has hon. 0 is greater than. Let's sit with this for a moment. What if everything is happening fast because it's supposed to? What if there's no benefit to artificial slowness? What if you're both ready and the universe is just moving at the pace that matches that readiness? What if trying to slow it down is actually working against the natural momentum? I know we're taught that good things develop slowly, that rushing leads to mistakes, that you need time to really know someone. And sometimes that's true, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes fast is just fast. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean it won't last. It just means the conditions are right for rapid development. Let me ask you another question. What are you afraid might happen if you let this move at its natural pace? Are you afraid of getting hurt? Of being disappointed? Of discovering it's not what it seems? Of losing yourself in another person? Of making the same mistakes you've made before? Name the fear, because unnamed fears control us. Named fears can be examined, challenged, worked with, and sometimes when we actually look at what we're afraid of, we realize the fear is outdated. It's based on old experiences that don't necessarily predict this experience. Drop a comment if you already know what your specific fear is, because I think a lot of you are holding back from something good because of fears that might not even be relevant to your current situation. Is less than has hone. 0 is greater than. You know what I'm also picking up on? The person in this dynamic, the one who might carry soulmate energy, they might be feeling this acceleration too. They might be experiencing the same intensity, the same sense of why does this feel so significant so quickly, the same mixture of excitement and fear, and they might be looking to you for cues about how to navigate it. So if you're playing it cool, if you're pretending you're not affected, if you're maintaining distance to protect yourself, that might be confusing for them. They might be interpreting your caution as lack of interest when actually you're interested but scared, and that miscommunication could slow down or stop something that might otherwise develop beautifully. I'm not saying you should be reckless with your heart, but consider being honest. Consider saying, this is moving fast and it's bringing up fear for me, but I'm still interested. That kind of honesty creates safety for both people. Let me share something with you. Soulmate connections, when they're real, often come with this sense of recognition, this feeling of, I know you even when you don't know them yet. It's like your soul is responding to their soul beneath all the surface level stuff. And that recognition can be so powerful that it bypasses the usual timeline of getting to know someone. You might find yourself trusting them quickly, feeling comfortable with them in ways that usually take months to develop, sharing things you don't share easily, and that can feel dangerous because you're used to trust being earned slowly, you're used to opening up gradually, but with certain people, the opening just happens naturally. They don't have to work for access. You just give it. And if you've been hurt before, if you've been betrayed, that natural opening might terrify you. You might try to force yourself to slow down, to be more cautious, to protect yourself better. But fighting against natural opening often creates tension that damages the connection. Is less than Hasson, 0 is greater than. Let me ask you one more thing. What would it look like to trust your own judgment here? To trust that if something feels right, even if it's fast, you can explore it while still maintaining your boundaries. To trust that you can be open and discerning at the same time. Because I feel like some of you have lost confidence in your own sense of people. You've been hurt and you've decided you can't trust your judgment. So now you're overriding your instincts with rules and timelines and caution. But what if your instincts are actually pretty good? What if you can tell the difference between something genuine and something manipulative? What if you don't need to protect yourself from everything just because you needed to protect yourself from something once? Is less than Hasson. 0 is greater than. You know what else this reading is bringing up? The idea that soulmates aren't just about romance. This person entering your field with this intensity, they might be a friend, a collaborator, a mentor, someone who's meant to be in your life in a significant way that isn't necessarily romantic. So don't get too locked into one interpretation. What matters is the resonance, the recognition, the sense that this person is somehow important to your journey. How that manifests specifically, that can take different forms. Stay open to what actually wants to develop rather than forcing it into a particular category. Let me offer you something. Permission to let things move at their natural pace. Permission to trust timing that feels fast. Permission to be honest about what you're experiencing instead of playing games. Permission to show up authentically even when it feels vulnerable. Permission to explore a significant connection without needing to know exactly where it's going. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to know if this person is the one before you're willing to engage. You can just be present. You can just be honest. You can just see what unfolds when you stop trying to control the pace and the outcome. Is less than Hayes home. 0 is greater than. Here's what I want you to remember. When the universe accelerates things, when connections develop rapidly, when big conversations happen sooner than expected, that's not necessarily a warning sign. Sometimes it's just life moving efficiently, getting you where you need to be without unnecessary delays, connecting you with people who matter without wasting time. And if you fight that acceleration, if you try to slow down what wants to move fast, you might miss the window. You might create distance where connection was trying to form. You might choose safety over possibility. Is less than Hayes home. 0 is greater than. Take what resonates from this reading, leave what doesn't, and remember that you remain in control of your honesty, of your boundaries, of how you show up in conversations, of what you choose to explore or not explore. Fast doesn't mean reckless. It just means present. It just means responsive. It just means willing. Everything might be happening fast right now. A big conversation might be approaching. A significant connection might be developing. And that might feel overwhelming, but it might also be exactly what you've been asking for, just arriving in a different timeline than you expected. Is less than Hayes hone. 0 is greater than. Trust your inner knowing. Trust that you can handle intensity. Trust that you can be open while still being wise. Trust that if this is real, if this is meant to develop, the speed won't undermine it. It'll just get you there faster. Is less than Hayes hone. 0 is greater than. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being open to acceleration. Thank you for considering that fast might not mean wrong. You're exactly where you need to be in this moment of rapid movement. And that's powerful. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. And remember, sometimes the best things happen quickly, not because they're impulsive, but because they're right.